notes on how they can be used in some of our parks and green spaces. So thank you.
Thank you. That might be working. It is. So, good afternoon, everybody. Vanessa Rolfe. Who knew lighting could be so interesting? I've got all these ideas what I want to do with my house and my garden now. So, absolutely interesting. I don't know if this subject is as interesting, but in the graveyard shift, we'll try to do as best as I can. So, just a little bit about myself. Police officer for almost 30 years, and I've worked a lot with child safeguarding, adult safeguarding with domestic abuse and rapes, and more latterly 3 years as a senior investigating officer leading murder investigations. So I tell you that just to give you the background of what has led me now to a role that I'm really proud and humbled to be leading on as the strategic lead for violence against women and girls in West Yorkshire Police in the Violence Reduction Unit. I work very closely with the Deputy Mayor and the Mayor and Wicker, Erin here, who leads on the strategy for safety of women and girls for the Mayor. We work very closely together and have done loads and loads of work. With the West Yorkshire Police VOG strategy, there are 3 pillars that mirror the national VOG strategy. The first one is building trust and confidence, which is more important than ever after the murder of Sarah Everard. The second one is pursuing the perpetrator. Again, really, really important. And the third one is creating safer spaces, which is why I'm here today, obviously, and been working with Anna for the past 18 months and supporting her research and work. So I'm going to tell you, we've done loads and loads of work, and I'm going to just tell you about one of the projects that we've got in Bradford running called Operation Soundwood. And there are a couple of other things that I want to say. I could stand here all afternoon in response to everything that we've talked about. And I do just want to say, before I forget, we were talking earlier, somebody over here asked some questions about harassment and what that looks like and what we can do about it. There is some new legislation going through government at the moment, which is protection from sex-based harassment. So it's a bill at the moment. The new offence will be under an addition to the Public Order Act 1986, where it will be an offence for public sexual harassment because of the sex or presumed sex. So I hope that's a bit of reassurance that the police are going to have more powers to do that. So, Operation Soundwood, what is it? The Operation Soundwood is about a public space protection order, or a PSPO as we call it, which we brought into Bradford, and we're the first in the country to use violence against women and girls, to use it for violence against women and girls. But it started off in 2019 where there were significant issues with antisocial driving and significant community concern. That also the police and the local authority were speaking a lot with the university vice-chancellor, and concerns were raised because in Bradford at the university a lot of the students are Asian females who still live at home, and therefore they have to get the bus perhaps and then walk to the university, and there was a lot of catcalling going on and the girls were feeling uncomfortable and it was causing a lot of anxiety. There was also Reclaim the Night March, which we mentioned before, comes from the Yorkshire Ripper days when women were told to stay at home, and that continued in Bradford. We had limited crime and intelligence reports, held meetings with the university, and we've got something called a Partnership Intelligence Portal, a PIP. So for any organisations here that are in West Yorkshire, you can sign up to this, where you can put intelligence in and we can then do something with that. So just a little shout out about that. So the PSPO comes under the Antisocial Behaviour Crime and Policing Act, and as I say, it was the first national district PSPO for antisocial driving. Now, this was the council that applied for this in 2019, and it was for all the driving that was going on in parks, around parks, in areas. And at that time, because of the consultation we'd had with the university, we also wanted to add a condition on there. So this is a civil order. We wanted to add a condition that people weren't allowed to catcall from their car and say derogatory things to women and girls, or to anybody, but specifically to women and girls. So the order was passed, but then at the end of 2019, of course, we all went into lockdown and it wasn't used and nothing could happen, and our focus was elsewhere at that time. So we had Operation Steerside, which was the enforcement of the antisocial driving, and that was really well supported. But as I say, because everybody was locked away, there weren't the women and girls that were going to the university. So it was reviewed and extended in 2022, and this is the conditions of the PSPO. It prohibits a number of antisocial behaviours associated with use of motor vehicles, including shouting or swearing at or abusing, threatening or otherwise intimidating, including by the use of sexual language or making sexual suggestions to another person. The first in the country to do that. So it started in December 21 using a variety of tactics. So we had 2 plainclothes officers that were walking through the parks and walking through the space to the university from the buses. So that we also had uniformed officers there as well. So there was a physical presence and reassurance for women and girls that were using the area to walk through. But we could also engage with them and understand the issues from the plainclothes officers as well. And that provided a proactive policing footprint. I've just said all this to reassure members, prevent incidents of antisocial behaviour and crime, demonstrate positive policing to those behaving in an unacceptable manner, and at the same time this helps build trust and confidence with our communities. Identify, locate and arrest offenders, dealing in a positive manner to secure convictions at court. So we had 27 operations. This is the data to date. So we've had 27 operations have been carried out. We've had 24 breaches of PSPOs, 9 for antisocial driving and 2 in relation to drugs, and 14 in relation to inappropriate behaviour towards women and girls. So I think that's great. It could be better. We need to do more work. We want to stop it. But this sends a good message out. And from those people that we have stopped, that have been in cars, that have been catcalling women, those 14 people, they all have a criminal background. They're all connected to a criminal background, so they're continuing with their behaviour. I think next is a video I've got to show you about it all. Oh, more activity. 27 vehicles have been seized, 6 people arrested, because once we speak to them, there might be other offences, there might be drink driving, they might have drugs, public order offences, 135 traffic offence reports, warnings for antisocial behaviour and crime reports. So this is just a little video show. It's only a minute long.
Social vehicle we're working today within the Great Horton area and around the area of the university. We work based on where we get reports of antisocial driving, and in particular around the university. As with a lot of universities around the country, we have had reports where members of the public have perhaps been made to feel a little bit unsafe by some of the behaviour of other road users. So we're focusing some work there today, just to target that social vehicle use, using police powers and also the council public space protection order, which covers a range of lower level vehicle-based offences, but also the likes of antisocial language aimed at people who are outside on foot, going about their business, the likes of shouting from vehicles. So we've got a range of powers that we're looking to use out there today.
Women should feel safe to walk our streets and not be harassed by men in vehicles. This is about calling out some males' inappropriate behaviour towards women and girls, but also about giving confidence to people to call this type of behaviour out. It is not acceptable.
So So that's Detective Superintendent Tanya Wilkins, who is the Vord lead in Bradford and the crime lead. Yeah, as I said, I've mentioned before that we were the first in the country. There's been some others, I think it's Luton or somewhere down south has also done it. And you're probably sitting there going, well, what about the rest of West Yorkshire, which we have responsibility for. We've been working, it's not ours, it's with the local authority, and hot off the press. We are about to go citywide in Leeds with a PSPO. So again, it's from a vehicle, so any catcalling from a vehicle, people will be stopped and they will be fined, and fine is £100. It's not yet in order, but it's about to start. We're just waiting for some signs to go up, because we've got to put signs up to let people know that the order is in place. But that will be in all of the Leeds city centre area as soon as possible. So just two other things that I wanted to mention. Somebody before mentioned Street Safe. Please Google Street Safe. It's a national online service where you can report any antisocial behaviour, needles, rubbish, street lighting, something going on, graffiti, and that information then comes to the police, and we share that with the local authority and also our neighbourhood policing teams so that they can address the issues. So a big plug, especially in West Yorkshire, but again, it is a national service. And if you don't do anything else today, I really recommend downloading the app Walk Safe. It's something that Erin and I are working with a company, or a non-profit company, who have designed an app for people to be safe when they're out in cities. It was launched in Bradford, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's got all safe places on there. It's got live stream mapping of street angels, so that and a safe place to go to if you need to call a taxi or call the police or to recharge your phone. You can report on there, and you can also share with somebody just temporarily that you're walking home or you're coming home, so that they can see where you are and map you and follow you. And we're working with them for that to be launched county-wide, hopefully in September, and developing that app as well. It's absolutely brilliant, so I really recommend that. But in the 12 minutes that I've had, that is everything on a tiny bit of what we're doing for safer spaces of the Vogue strategy at West Yorkshire Police.